But now that he's 13, he is such a sweet, sweet boy. He has had some hard times at school with friends and people who are not nice, and trying to keep him safe and away from these people who just aren't good choices to have around, um, because they have ill intent. Shelby does not, but they are the kind of people that would rope Shelby into doing something or saying something and then tattling on him and getting him in trouble just because they think it's funny and fun. And so we're trying to keep him away from these people. And with that said, he's had to find a new lunch table in the middle of middle school, which not easy to do.
Hi everyone, I'm Lexie Callies. Do you feel the squeeze of caring for an elderly loved one and school-aged children? Then welcome to the Sandwich Stories. Let's dig in.
Hiya! Hi everybody, it's Lexie Callies with Sandwich Stories. I hope you're having a really great week. Easter is coming up, so happy Easter to all of those who celebrate. Happy Passover to all of those of my Jewish friends and who are celebrating Passover. It's a great spring season, and this is one of my favorite times of year. So I hope you're all doing really, really well, and looking forward to thawing out and warmer weather and beautiful flowers. It is also bluebonnet season here in Texas, which is also my favorite time of year. I grew up in the hill country of Texas, and there's locations there where it's literally a sea of bluebonnets, and it's my favorite. Every time they start popping up along the highways, I get super excited, and it just always makes me happy. But as much as I love bluebonnets, the Indian paintbrushes, which are the orange ones, are also a favorite of mine. I think I actually like them more than the bluebonnets. But that's neither here nor there when it comes to sandwich stories. But that's a little bit about me. Flowers and bluebonnets and Indian paintbrushes just make you smile, make you happy. And anyway, so happy spring to all of you out there. I also would like to this week put my mom hat on again and talk about putting helping your child through what I feel is one of the toughest times of childhood, and that's middle school. As some of you know, I have a 13-year-old. He is lovely and funny and really true to himself. He is the kind of child that when he has made up his mind, good luck changing it. Good luck making him feel like he needs to be something other than himself. And he is kind of having a little bit of a hard time with this, um, for a few reasons. Obviously, the way kids are growing up these days is totally different than the way I grew up, the way my husband grew up. So we as parents struggle with that dynamic of what we feel is appropriate and safe for our child, um, but also trying to understand what the new needs and social constructs are when it comes to children now. So our son does not have a phone and hasn't had one. But now that he's 13, he is such a sweet, sweet boy. He has had some hard times at school with friends and people who are not nice, and trying to keep him safe and away from these people who just aren't good choices to have around, because they have ill intent. Shelby does not, but they are the kind of people that would rope Shelby into doing something or saying something and then tattling on him and getting him in trouble just because they think it's funny and fun. And so we're trying to keep him away from these people. And with that said, he's had to find a new lunch table in the middle of middle school, which not easy to do. And he is comfortable with his friends who know him and understand him. And he's the kind of person that once you get to know him, you find he's funny and smart and witty and is a great person to be around. But I can see how he can come across, he says, a little weird, a little kooky, and some people just aren't willing to look past that first initial kookiness to see who he really is. And so he's like, it's hard. People think I'm weird. They don't want to be around me. They don't want me to sit at their lunch table. And I tell you, that 30 minutes of school is a make or break it for the day. And so my husband and I have been trying to decide how to help him navigate this, and it's not easy. Trying to tell a 13-year-old who knows who he is, loves who he is, and but then tell him those are all great things and those are great qualities to have, but it's always the but, right? When you are with a group of people who are new and you're trying to come into their circle, sometimes it's good to maybe sit back and watch what's going on. Don't change who you are, but sometimes you kind of have to dial back a portion of your personality and ramp up another portion of your personality so that you can figure out the social constructs and norms of that group and kind of figure it out and fit in. So not change who you are to your core to fit in, but maybe change a few things while you're with that group. Especially when you're trying to be the new person and trying to fit in and see what is acceptable and what's not acceptable with these groups. And that's really hard for him to do. So my husband and I have been struggling a lot with that. Um, I was kind of the same way. I was very much who I wanted to be, and I was the girl, even through high school, that was friends with everybody. I floated from group to group, and I kind of learned how to be a chameleon when it came to those groups, and it came from being friends with a lot of people, but then also realizing like, oh, this group is like this, and this group is like that, and this group talks about this kind of stuff, and this group doesn't talk about that. They talk about this. So he is trying to figure that out, and of course, he loves Minecraft so much. And he's starting to learn that maybe not everybody wants to talk about Minecraft all the time. Um, so he's starting to learn, what they want to talk about and how to fit in with those conversations. Um, but with that said, also, like I said with the phone, he doesn't have one. And I've been really proud of him for not wanting one. He's never bothered us about one until recently. And he described it in the most poetic way possible. He said that he lives in a black void and he's sitting at the bottom of the void, and here comes this hand to pull him out of the void. And the way to get out of the void is to tell the person whose hand is coming down to pull him out what his cell phone number is so that he can be part of the text group. And when he says, I don't have a cell phone, the hand goes away and he's stuck still at the bottom of the void. When I tell you I heard this and my heart broke, oh my gosh, it was the most impactful way of telling me as a parent that as much as I don't want him to have a phone, as much as I didn't think it was necessary, it is necessary. This is how he and his friends all communicate. They're all part of group chats, and he is not part of it. So then he misses out. And 13-year-old boys are not the ones who are like, oh yeah, hey, remember Shelby doesn't have a cell phone? We need to call him or call his mom or whatever, or let him know that this is going on, or we're getting together at this time or this day, or there's a party or whatever it is. And so then he misses out. And that would be the last thing I want to do for my son, is to have him miss out, but only because I can't change with the times. If I can't accept that this is how children get together and plan things through text messaging, then I'm doing a disservice. And my husband said the same thing. My husband definitely was not the person who had a lot of friends. He was, as he said, super nerdy, really weird, loved being at home because he's a bit of an introvert. And, he was not the kid that got invited to things. He was very studious and loved playing on his computer, loved playing video games, and did really well in school, had a few friends. But was never the kid that got invited to stuff. And of course, now he feels, heartbroken for our son when he tells us he's in a void. So we have decided to bend because of the way Shelby was able to tell us and for us to listen to his needs, so that he can move forward with his social life and not be left out and not feel like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I get invited to things? And he doesn't get invited to things because of his parents. So we've decided to get him a phone. And that's the other thing. My husband and I are Android people, and all his friends have Apples. And so he's like, I have to have an Apple. If I ever get a phone, I have to have an Apple. And of course, my husband's like, why do you need an Apple? We don't know how to use that. If you're the child, turns out if you are an Android person going into a group chat with all Apple people, they don't like you because you have to start a whole new group chat. You can't just add a person to it because you have the Android. And they're like, who's making the picture green? Now they're all green. Who's got the Android? And so we've learned that. So we have to learn how to use an Apple and help them through all of that. So it's really hard as a mom to say, I don't understand, but I'm going to understand and I'm going to do what is best for you. And I appreciate you telling us in a very impactful way how you feel versus just saying, why can't I have a phone? Everybody else has a phone. Why don't I have a phone? And that reasoning doesn't work, but that poetic, impactful visual that I experienced when he told us this just changed my mind like that. So that's what's going on with us. And being a mom's not easy. Being a parent's not easy. Trying to navigate all of this all the time is not easy. Um, So he will learn that he'll get a phone and there are rules that come with it. And he's really good about following the rules, but I think he'll also be really excited that he gets to be involved with all the other friends and he will get out of the void. Oh, I tell you, hearing that way of describing it just broke my heart. And I want him out of the void so badly. I need him out of the void. So, yeah, so wish me luck. If any of y'all are going through this, I would really encourage you to talk to your kids, explain to them your thoughts about technology and safety when it comes to it, but also listen to them. Yes, if their response is, well, because everybody has one, that's not always a good response. Really get down to why they feel that they should have one, but also go by age limit. Like I said, my son is 13. He made it to 13. Um, and I understand every family is different. I have friends who have 4 kids, and 3 of the 4 have phones because they are in 4 different sports and they're pulled all different ways. One of my friend's daughter is driving now, so for her safety, they let her, they make sure she has a phone. Um, they have a second child who is a sophomore, so he's getting his learner's permit and will also start driving when his sister goes off to college. So 3 of their 4 children have a phone. Their second grader does not, but I'm sure she will get one eventually because she's also in a lot of sports and, they just keep track of everything. So listen to your kids. really hear them and make decisions and come to conclusions with your spouse and with your family that's right for your family. But don't discount your children's opinions when it comes to these things. I probably did that for a little too long, but I am so thankful that my son was able to give me a reasoning that I could hear and that really just hit me in the heart. And I agree with him. Yeah, I really do. So it's tough, but hang in there. I know it's not easy when you're being pulled with your loved ones who are elderly, and we can talk about phones when it comes to the elderly too. Maybe that'll be the next episode is that how to help your elderly parents with phones, especially helping them keep up with safety and technology, how that's changing for them. But also listen to your kids and so yeah, make those choices, okay? Song of the week is Hurricane Season by Trombone Shorty. Trombone Shorty is, in my mind, one of the current musical geniuses out of New Orleans, out of Louisiana. He is up there with John Baptiste in my mind. He is amazing. He was actually part of the Super Bowl. He came out and was part of the Super Bowl because he is from New Orleans. So if you don't know who he is, go out and listen to his music. Hurricane Season is all instrumental, so there are no words. It is fun. It's a lot of trumpet. It's really good, gets you grooving music that kids love. I tell you what, you turn this on, kids will start moving and grooving, especially littles. It is pretty impressive how this affects them. And I think he is just a genius that more people need to know about. He pops up on, he has his own albums. He pops up on a lot of albums with other major players, like I said, with John Baptiste and a few others that are out of New Orleans. Um, Hurricane Season reminds me of my dad, reminds me of my grandma Betty, who was from the bayous of Louisiana. And this just makes me think of them and it makes me happy and I love it. So, Trombone Shorty, Hurricane Season, check it out, get grooving, find someone new, and maybe you'll love his music as much as I do. Okay? All right. Have a great week. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for listening to Sandwich Stories. I really hope you learned some new things and enjoyed it. If you did, tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your sister, tell your dad, tell everybody you know to also listen. Maybe they'll learn some new things, how to help each other out, and find us at Sandwich Stories Podcast. Thanks so much.